My name is Ben Reeves.
And
Age 94.
94. When were you born?
I was born in 1920 in
And
the long row,
Do
the
you
bottom end of the village.
what number?
Number 6.
Number 6, the long road. And who lived in that house with you then?
Me and my brother and one sister, Florrie, and Mum and Dad, of course, Frank and Ellen Reeves.
And where did you come in?
And they moved from the Putnam lock house,
Right,
where he was a lock keeper.
was he? And they moved up.
And then they moved up, he retired off of the British Waterways.
Right, okay, yeah.
And
And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 8 in the family, which was 4 of each. 4 brothers and 4 sisters.
And whereabouts in the family did you come, Ben?
I was the 7th.
The 7th, goodness me. Yeah. And did you all live in that little cottage then? Or had some?
No.
No, right.
2 sisters, Gladys and May,
Yeah,
and Mary were born, and Ted,
Yeah.
another brother, they were born at the Putnam lock house.
right, okay. And did they all move down here? Or
No. They moved and married and then left the family.
Right, okay. So there were just you and your mum and dad?
Yes, there was me and Don,
Yeah,
my younger brother,
yeah,
and one sister, which was Florrie.
right. But that must have been because they're just 2 bedrooms, aren't they?
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a squeeze. But
Yeah.
Mother used to put a curtain across.
Oh, did she? That's how she
Yeah,
did it.
yeah,
Yeah. And were there lots of kids around in the village then?
Oh yeah, loads of kids
Were there?
in my day.
Yeah.
We were big families, of course, in the village at that time.
Mm.
All big families.
Yes, yeah. So do you remember playing out in the street with your friends?
Oh yeah, playing
Yeah.
out in the streets, different people.
Yeah. Do you remember any in particular from way back?
Yeah, Webbs.
Just lots of...
Wilkins.
Yeah. Oh. Good. And what sort of games did you play then?
We used to play what they called Nally, where we used to put tins 8 wide
Yeah.
to a pyramid,
Oh yeah.
and we used to throw tennis balls at them to knock them down, which we called Nally.
Yeah. Ah.
And we got stopped by the farmer, which was Mr. Gregory,
Yeah.
because that was against the old black barn.
Oh.
And because we was throwing these balls, and sometimes we had a cricket ball,
Yeah.
and we used to hit the
barn.
the barn,
Mm.
and they stopped us and said that we were breaking the
Oh, the
barn.
barn doors.
We had to stop that.
Oh dear. Any other games? Do you remember?
We had boxing.
Boxing. Oh, did you?
Yes, I had a set of boxing clubs.
Yeah.
Boxing gloves,
Yeah.
and we used to put them on, and we used to make a ring out, and we used to box.
Did you? Was
Yeah.
that what in the main road here?
No, on the
road?
green,
On the green.
opposite the
Right.
black barn.
Ah. Oh,
Funny.
that's good. And how old, sort of, when you were? What,
Well, we
7
was
or
only
8?
around about 12 and
Yeah.
13, I suppose. in them
Lovely.
days.
Yeah. And I bet you roamed all over the fields and the farms.
Yes,
didn't you?
we used to play cowboys and Indians in them days.
Yeah.
down in what they called the Duffers.
Yeah.
That was the other side of the canal.
Right.
And there were some horses had by Newman, the farmer.
Yeah.
4 horses they used to let, because in them days they started the tractor to come in, so the horses were not used anymore.
Ah, right.
And he used to leave them.
Yeah, just in the field.
Yeah, leave them in the field because he didn't want them put down.
No. Well, and did you go up to the reses as well? Up the reservoir?
On the reservoirs, yes. So we used to be up there when we were kids.
Yeah.
But in the latter part, I worked on the reservoirs.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And what did you do on the reservoirs?
We used to breed ducks up there for Rothschilds.
Oh, right.
And doubles, who were the keepers up there in them days, Charlie Double.
Right.
I used to be with him.
Did you? Breeding the ducks?
Breeding the ducks.
Yeah. How old were you then when you were doing that job?
I was 17.
Were you? Yeah.
And I worked there for 3 years up to 1939.
Did you? Yeah.
Was there much traffic on the canal in those days?
Yes. Loads of coal boats.
Yeah.
Bringing coal up to Wilstone, to Jeffreys, who were the coal merchants in them days.
And they lived
on the big white house.
Yeah. And there was a wharf there, wasn't there, where you could...
Yeah. They used to put along the side there, unload the coal.
Is it all loose coal?
And that was the day they were with horse-pulled boats.
Yeah.
You used to pull 2 boats, one full of coal and the other was a butty, what they called a butty.
Yeah.
Where the family used to live in, but that was still loaded with coal as well.
Was it really? Yeah. And then, where would they stable the horses then?
They used to stable the horse at the Half a Moon, which would be there's a black barn behind the Half a Moon, which you say 6 horses in there. And on the back of the pub, which is now the cellar, they called it the cellar, used to be 3 horses in there.
Oh, did there? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. And how did they get up here then, to the village from the canal?
Well, they used to take them off, all the harness off from the boats, and they used to say, on your way, and they used to walk through the village. And straight after with nobody with them.
Really? They knew their way?
They knew their way there. And the door was always open for them, and straight into their stalls they used to go.
Oh, how wonderful.
And the hay was up in the top.
Yeah.
And they used to throw the hay down there for them to eat.
Lovely.
Was the Half Moon the only pub in the village?
No. The Buckingham Arms. But before my day, there used to be in 2 more pubs called the Rose and Crane and the Hot Pole.
Oh, right.
So there used to be 4 pubs.
Where was the Hot Pole?
The Hot Pole was round on the bend, the bottom end of the village.
Okay, yeah.
And that was called the Hot Pole.
Is the building still there?
Yeah.
And the other pub?
Glazers. That white pub. White house.
Oh, was that a pub?
That was a pub. 3-storey.
3-storey, yeah. And what was the name of that pub then?
That was the Rose and Crane.
Was it? Yeah. And then the other one was the Buckingham Arms, wasn't it?
The Buckingham Arms, yes. That was the Benskins pub.
Was it?
The Half a Moon was the Aylesbury pub.
Right.
Aylesbury Brewery.
Yeah. So which one did you prefer out of all those?
I preferred the Buckingham Arms because I used to brew my beer. Benskins Ale. I used to love that.
Did you?
A mild beer, mind you. But
you like your mild, don't you?
Yeah, it was lovely beer.
And that closed...
But I used to use the Half a Moon on occasions.
Did you?
Or when the Buckingham Arms had got a dart match, we used to have to go to the Half a Moon.
Ah, yeah.
And vice versa.
Lovely. So you've seen things change quite a bit, haven't
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Did you see a lot of the canal barge folk?
Yes, I used to know a barge people called the monks. And when he used to get to Putnam Lockheads, he had a hooter on his boat, and he used to blow the hooter, and we in the village to say, "His monk, his monk."
Oh, really?
He's coming, he's coming. We used to run down, and we used to steer the boat up for him.
Oh.
You know, on the...
Yeah, on the rudder thing, yeah.
On the rudder.
Yeah, oh great.
Yeah.
Did they used to come and drink in the pubs in the village?
Yes, yes. And they always used to come up, and they used to bring half a loaf of bread, the old cottage loaf.
Yeah, lovely.
The big one with the small one on top.
Yeah.
And they used to bring that up, which was cut in half.
Yeah.
They used to have a couple of tomatoes and a big lump of cheese and a knife, their knife. And they used to sit in the pub with a pint of beer and cut it.
Yeah, and that was
eat it.
Yeah, that was their dinner.
There were families on these boats, weren't there?
Oh, yeah.
Loads of young kids and things?
Yeah. 4 or 5 kids sleeping in the butty boat.
Yeah. And did you go to school in this village, or?
I went to school up here, Wilson School.
Yeah.
To the age of 14.
Did you? Yeah. How old were you when war broke out then?
When war broke out, I was 18.
And did you?
That particular time, I had my papers in December 1939.
Right.
And I joined the army in 1940, January 40.
Did you? So you went down to Blandford. And how long did you train for down there?
6 weeks.
Blimey, that wasn't long, was it?
Not long. And I left there and went to Scotland to catch the boat to go to, well, we didn't know where we was going. Somebody said we was going to Iceland, somebody said we was going to Egypt.
Yeah. Was this the first time that you'd really been out of the village then?
Yes, it was, As far as that, yeah.
What did that feel like?
Well, we was young and silly, I suppose, and everything was a joy, if you understand.
Yeah.
We was going to war, weren't we?
Yeah.
But we didn't realise what war was going to be about.
No, that's it, yeah. So where was the boat going from Scotland?
Well, we got on a boat called the Orion, a big liner. And there was 2,000 on the boat. Because that was all done out for troop carrying, troop ship. And we got out into the Bay of Biscay, and a sailor said there was a blackburn flying overhead. That was the name of the aircraft.
Oh, right.
Little did they know it wasn't a blackburn. It was a German plane, got a fish underneath it.
Oh.
And he let the fish go, and it went straight into our boat.
Oh. And what happened?
There was 24 killed on it. Load of nurses.
Really?
And a few soldiers got killed.
Yeah.
And they brought the, I'm not sure it was the Ajax, the cruiser Ajax they brought up.
Right.
And they lashed it to the side of this Orion.
Yeah.
And that turned us around and brought us into the dry dock.
Oh. So you were still able to...
and then we had a fortnight's holiday.
Right.
What they call survivor's leave.
Yeah.
And then we were called back again. We were called to Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
And we sailed on the Andes.
Okay.
A liner, a P&O liner.
Right.
Had been stripped out. And we sailed on that. A beautiful ship. That
was it? Yeah.
The P&O ship.
Yeah. And where did you get to on that one?
We sailed and got to Sierra Leone, where we stopped there for 2 days.
Oh.
Anchored there. And then we went up to the Suez Canal. We went to Durban.
Did you?
in South Africa.
Yeah.
And we had a week's leave there because they were doing something to the boat and everything.
Yeah.
And then we sailed to the Suez Canal,
Mm.
Heliopolis.
Wow.
And then we camped out in the desert.
Yeah.
You got any photographs of yourself in uniform out in North Africa at all?
Yeah, I got one here now.
Mm.
We were more or less fighting the Italians because the Germans wasn't there then.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was pulled off of that because I was a driver
Yeah.
and sent to the long range desert patrols who wanted a driver.
Okay.
So I volunteered
Did you?
like a fool. I was with them for a month
Mm.
and went on patrols with them behind the lines. Then we got back from there
Yeah.
and I left them there. I went back to the unit again.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I was pulled out again because I was a driver again
Yeah.
to pull big heavy guns.
Oh gosh.
And I
yeah.
went up there with the 25 pounders.
And that's right on the front, was
Yeah,
it?
right on the
yeah.
front. Yeah.
Blimey.
And then we were turned into infantry as well
Yeah.
because you had to be infantry. I don't matter what you was. You
Okay.
was
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
And sometimes we got overrun by the Germans
Did
when
you?
they came in. The 13th light,
Mm.
the battery was 247,
Yeah.
was sent to Greece. And I always remember I was sitting down opening a tin of bully beef
Yeah.
with
The key
Key.
thing. Yeah.
and all of a sudden, bang,
Oh no.
and the bully beef shot at my hand, and it was a rifle bullet. It tore through my thumb and broke my wrist.
Really?
And they sent me down to St Athens General Hospital. When I come out of hospital, it was nearly empty, the hospital was, and I can't make out why that was empty.
Yeah.
So I come out of hospital, instead of turning left to go to Paris, I went and turned right. Whatever that made me do that, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I went up to Volos, where this gun position was.
Oh.
And when I got there, it was nothing there.
No.
They'd moved, they'd gone.
They'd cleared off.
Yeah. But there was the partisans up there.
Right.
So I linked up with the partisans for
Yeah.
nearly a month.
Did you?
And I stopped with them at the Greek partisans, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I stopped with them and with the girls, because there were partisans, a lot of girls up there,
Oh, were they?
all army.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were very good, and some spoke very good English,
Did they? Oh, that helped.
which I could understand, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one of the Greeks came to me and said, I think you ought to go south. And I said,
Right.
why is that? He said, well, the Germans are going to make a big push and we should never hold them.
Oh. Right.
He said, we've got a lot of young blokes up here, but he said, I don't think we'll ever hold them.
No. No.
But I've got no equipment. I'd got
Yeah.
no rifle, I'd got nothing. The
Nothing.
only thing I'd got was a revolver
Mm.
and 38 revolver.
Gosh.
So that
Yeah.
was no good.
No. No.
So I said, right, so off I started walking.
Good.
And I started walking from the partisans and along the coast road.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had a lift with a Greek wagon going that way,
Yeah.
say 2 or 3 miles, and I
Yeah.
had to get out because they had stopped.
Yeah.
And I kept walking and walking till eventually I got to Paris,
Gosh. Yeah.
that was the port,
Yes.
which
yeah.
we already landed in the first
Yeah.
instance.
Yeah.
And when I got there was nothing there. All the boats had gone.
Oh.
So I said to one bloke, I said, well, where's everybody gone? He said, oh, they moved out 2 or 3 or 4 days ago.
Mm. Mm.
I said, well, they never bloody well come for me.
So then what on
So-
earth did you do?
I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I started speaking to a Greek bloke. He said, one or two of your blokes has gone safe down there. It's gone down that way.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I better start walking.
Yeah.
So I started walking and walking and walking, and eventually I come across 3 or 4 stragglers.
Ah. Now, were we talking walking days or
Walking.
weeks or?
Oh, a month.
Did you?
And I picked up these 4 blokes who were walking, and they said, "Where you going, mate?" I said, "I'm going south." "Can we come with you?" I said, "Well, of course you can if you wish."
Yeah.
And we walked and walked till we got to what they call the Corinth Bridge.
Okay. Yeah.
It was an estuary
Yeah.
from the sea,
Yeah.
running back 2 miles along, and there was a bridge across. And just before the bridge, there was a naffy wagon.
Oh.
And when we got to the wagon, that was full of cigarettes,
Oh. Oh.
players, senior service, everything, woodbines, anything you could do. So I'd got a little pack, which I'd got me shaving gear and
Yeah.
soap and all that in.
Yeah.
I threw that away and filled my little sack, my pack
Yeah.
sack, full of cigarettes. Stuffed them in me in me pockets.
Yeah.
Opened up there, shoved them in there between my shirt and it was like a walking
fag packet.
Currency, I suppose. Right?
yeah. And then there was chocolate, big bars of chocolate. And I got 7 bars out of the way. I got nothing to eat, so they were going to be nice to eat. And then we got to the bridge, and there was 2 sitting on the other side, and they said, "Hurry up, get across, we're going to blow the bridge." Well, I don't know if they was going to blow the bridge or what they're going to do. But anyway, we run across.
Yeah.
And walked another, I don't know, 20 miles, I suppose, and got into a cornfield. Lovely, beautiful corn growing there, and we laid in the cornfield for a couple of days.
Yeah, smoking fags and eating
yeah,
chocolate.
and then we walked to the coast where the olive orchard.
Yeah,
the black olives and the green olives. And we got into this orchard, and we used to be eating these, well, to keep us alive, I suppose, is what we think of it. And we laid there for about a month.
Did you?
And then all of a sudden, one of these boys got up, and he went for a walk, and he come running back. He said, "There's a load of soldiers down there." I said, "Well, how many is a load of soldiers?" Well, he said, "At least 20. I said, "Well, what the hell are they doing here?" So I went down and had a look, and it was an officer with a load of soldiers. He said, "Well, there's a boat coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning. A frigate's coming in."
Yeah.
He said, "You'll be on that."
Fabulous. Yeah.
I said, "Quite." So I said, "That's handy." I said, "We've been having a bit of glass. We've been on the cliff edge. Kept flashing SOS, SOS."
Oh, really?
He said, "Oh, it was you who was doing that."
Ah.
Yeah. We landed at Crete then.
Oh.
And of course the British soldiers were in Crete. And then just as we were leaving, they said, "There's a boat going to take it off again," because we'd no equipment, you see.
No.
And the boat came in, and it was the Duchess of Bedford,
Oh.
a liner.
Yes. Yeah.
And that picked up as many as they could.
Yeah.
And the other boys, they were left there because they got arms, rifles and machine guns and everything. And they were left there. But just as it was coming out to board the boat, the parachuters were coming down, the German parachuters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because there were an awful
And we
lot
could hear the
killed,
firing
weren't there?
going on
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So.
God.
Then we landed at Alexandra.
Did you? And that
But
was-
I never did find the unit for another 6 months after that.
Did you not?
Okay, I'm recording again.
Okay, Ben, do you want to introduce yourself? You're
My name is Ben Reeves,
and
age 94.
94, and you've lived in Willstone
All my life.
all your life.
Bred and born, number 6, Long Row, Wilster.
Lovely. And what year was that you were born in? December, your birthday?
January the 14th, 1920.
Okay, and you've told us a bit about the pubs. Were there any shops in Willstone?
Yes, the top shop, which is, it was called Anwell's shop in them days.
Okay.
A man named Mr. Anwell owned it.
Is that the one on the corner of Long Row?
No, that was the one where you are now, up there.
Oh, right.
That was Anwell.
Ah.
And the one down here on the corner of Long Row
Mm.
was Denchfield.
Okay, yeah. Denchfield.
That was the shops.
Yeah. Just the two. And
Just the two shops.
and did they do groceries or
Yeah, they done the groceries and
sweets?
sweets, cigarettes,
Everything.
whatever.
Good. And do you remember what year you got married? How old were you?
19.
So you married in 1939.
1939.
And who was the lucky lady?
The lucky lady then was Lillian Mannings of London.
Where had you met her then?
I met her in the pub at Longmarston called the White Hart
What was she doing out from London in the pub?
because she was evacuated.
Ah.
A very early evacuation
Yeah.
with the whole family,
Yeah.
except the husband, our father, who was left in London because he worked in the potato market.
Oh, right. Okay. And she caught your eye.
And yes, in the pub. And I married her. I must have married her in January, the early part of January,
Yes.
because I was off. Yes, I was only married to her for a fortnight
Really?
because I was off in the army in January of 1940.
Wow. So you didn't have long, did you,
No,
together
No,
for a long time?
no.
And how long were you away in the war then?
5 years.
5 years.
But I divorced her.
Did you?
Yeah.
When?
1942.
Oh.
The reason why?
Why?
Because she had a baby by an American.
Oh. Oh, right. Oh, while you were away.
And then I married my second wife, Hilda,
Mm.
in 1946.
Ah, so that was
May of 46,
after the war.
after the war.
Right, right. So when you came home then, there she was from the war. There she was, your first wife, with a baby.
Yes, yes.
So,
I did see her, but
mm,
I never got together again.
no, no. So when you came home on leave, you went home to your parents.
I did.
And then Hilda, where did you? Because she was from London, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was in London, nearly the same street as this first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They bred
She
and
was
good
in
up
Copenhagen Street, as the other one was at Bevington Street.
And was she...
She was Army.
Oh, right.
She was in the ATS.
Oh, was she?
And
right.
I met her in Tadworth in Surrey. That was just after the war.
Just after the war?
The war. Yeah, May the 8th had finished then. That was the end of the war.
Right, right.
And I met her down there.
So you were still in the army?
Yeah, I was still in the army until 46.
Yeah, yeah. Ah.
Yeah. So I'd done 6 years then, you might say.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah.
I was 5 years overseas and 1 year back in there.
Back here.
Waiting more or less to get demobbed.
Yes, yeah. And she was as well, presumably.
Yeah, she was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you brought her back to
Yes, yeah, to here.
Yeah.
Here. And we lived in a cottage
Next door here?
next door to this one.
You rented it?
Yeah.
Who owned it then?
Howe.
Oh.
Howe of Wendover.
Oh.
He owned the Long Row as well.
Oh, did he? All of it?
Yeah.
Do you remember what your rent was?
Yes, I can. 5 shillings.
5 shillings a week?
Week.
And what job did you come back to do?
I came back. Let me think. Yeah, I came back into the building because of my other brothers had already been demobbed.
Oh, right.
And Herbert was a plasterer and my older brother was a plasterer. So I went with them.
Yeah.
But then I went with the Cordery brothers for brickwork.
Oh.
Which I done brickwork for them.
Yeah.
So both trades was brickwork and...
Yes. Oh, that's good. And there was certainly a lot of building to be done. Yeah. And what did Hilda do then out here from London? It must have felt funny for her.
She went and worked at the mantle factory in Berkhamsted.
Oh.
Mantle factory was a sewing.
Oh, yes.
Machines.
Sewing, yeah. So she was busy all day as well.
She was busy,
Yeah.
How many people, when was that? Just after the war?
Yeah.
I suppose she caught a bus, did she? To Berkhamsted?
No, where where'd she go?
Or cycle.
I can't remember. She cycled to train and caught the bus to Berkhamsted.
She might have done. I'm not.
But in 46 I bought a car at an auction from the army.
Yeah.
At the auction I had an Austin 7.
Oh, yeah.
Or Austin 40, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I used to take her in that. I remember. Maybe I used to take her up to drink.
To drink in that, and then you'd go on to work. Ah, fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. Is there anything else about that time that you wanted to
No,
tell us
we
about?
had Carol. She was born in...
When was she born?
46.
46?
Yeah.
I'm
sure I got that right, I know.
You'd be in trouble.
You better put a little cross in there. I'm sure
We'll check it out.
I'm sure I got that right.
Yeah, so she's 65?
She's 64, she said.
64.
That was 46, wasn't it? Must have been.
No.
No.
47, I'd say.
Yeah, 47.
We'll check it out.
We'll check it out.
Oh, well.
We'll apologise to her for you.
I can't think of no more.
No. And you were still living next door? When you had Carol?
Yeah. She was born in Emlensted Hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know which
St.
one
Paul's.
it was, but and I went and fetched her by Bethel's in a taxi, and we
came back here.
because I'd already got this little cottage done up for her.
Oh, had
While
you?
she was in hospital, I got
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
painted out and
Lovely, lovely.
even bought a little television.
No,
Yeah,
really?
a little one.
A 9-inch screen?
Yeah, we're on a stand.
Yeah.
Cabinets.
Oh,
Oh, brilliant.
you know how to treat a woman. Mm. Oh, well, that's good. Do you remember any good times around here? Christmases, New Year's?
Well, we had brilliant times of Christmas days for meals, you know, the chicken.
Mm.
Not many turkeys about in them
No,
days.
not then, no.
It was a cockerel.
That's right,
Yeah,
yeah.
no cockerel.
A capon.
And a lump of beef or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever you could afford, of course.
And up the
Or a
pub.
rabbit.
A rabbit, yeah.
Stuffed rabbit.
Stuffed rabbit?
Yeah,
Oh, I've never had that.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you'd go round the pub?
Yes, we used to go to the pub and have a few beers. And
Come back?
didn't they used to get drunk, but used to have enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
They were the days.
Those were the days, eh? That's brilliant. And did they have fates or, you know, anything where the whole village would get
Well, the
together?
village, they had the old horticultural show, they call it.
Oh, that's right. They did, didn't they? Yeah.
You know, the flowers and
Yeah.
the veg and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah. Because we don't do that now, do
No,
we?
no.
Long Marsden do.
We used to have the allotments where all the stuff used to come and the new potatoes and the
Yeah,
runner beans and marrows. And
yeah. Because your dad had how many allotments?
he had 220 poles,
Yeah.
40 pole, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
We used to grow Swedes and
A lot.
everything
yeah,
you could
yeah.
think of.
And when you, sorry.
Did many people go to church in those days? From the...
Oh yeah, yeah. They used to use the church a lot.
And there was how many churches?
Just the one.
What about the,
Oh, the chapel.
yeah.
Yeah, well, there was chapel people as well, of course.
Mm.
There used to be 20, 25 getting in there. That
Yeah.
was quite a few people in there.
Yeah.
Maybe the same, more or less, at the church. But
Yeah.
that was a good crowd.
Yeah, that's good. Were you amongst them?
I used to blow the organ, or what they
Oh,
call it.
did you? What, do the...
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
For Mrs. Buzzer, who used to live in the long road, she used to be the organ.
Oh, right. Oh. Mm.
But we used to play her up, I'm afraid.
Did you? What did you do then?
Well, she stopped blowing. She...
Oh dear. Oh dear. And that's when old Mr. Glasser came out and started building. He had a chicken farm, didn't he, after the war?
Yes, he had that done.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then built the mill.
He built the mill, that part.
And that was all animal feed, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was for the chicken feed as well.
Yeah.
Anything an animal feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
And all the corn used to come in lorries and take it up to that mill and
Yeah.
put in the silos and everything. And
Yeah. Mm.
And I suppose these days there's a lot of newcomers in the village, isn't there?
oh yeah, that started all of a sudden.
Did it?
Yeah. Coming from London and buying these cottages up and
Mm. Mm. So where you live now, when was that built, that council estate? That must have been in the 50s?
50s, wasn't it? 53?
I would have thought it was 50s, 60s.
Yeah, somewhere around that
Yeah.
time, yeah. I can't see the dates. I got the dates all down there, but Carol knows where everything is.
Yes, yeah. But I would have thought they were probably 1960s.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And you moved... When did you move
No,
there?
I moved from from that little cottage
Yeah.
to Long Marston
Oh,
to
did you?
Bromley Estate,
Right.
which they built a few houses and bungalows down there.
Okay. Yeah.
And I lived down there for 10 years, I think it was.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of the village.
Until the Grange Road was built.
Now that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So they built those houses up there first, and then.
Because there was only a first lot built there, then that was stopped.
Yeah.
And then
And then they built down here.
built further along.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was 2 years later, or maybe
Yeah.
3 or 4 years later.
Yeah. And then, did you live there with Hilda then?
Yeah.
In what, round Grange Road?
Yeah. We lived there down at Bromley, number 10 Bromley.
Mm.
Then there was a house going up there, flat guy.
Mm.
And Hilda said, I'd like a flat because it's only me and you. Because Carol was already married.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Right. So it was just you and Hilda.
So I said, all right, fair enough then. So we come and we had that flat as I'm living in now.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't realise Hilda had lived there as well.
We bought the flat, you see.
Yeah. And then, how did Carol and Pete get the one next to you then?
Well, she was living in the Long Row.
Right.
And of course she had...
She had the kids.
She had Reeves.
Yeah.
And she wanted a bigger place because,
Right.
And they moved to that first.
Oh, well, that's...
and she lived there, and then she bought that place.
Yeah.
Do many people, in the old days, did many people fish in the canal? Did they go fishing?
Oh, Christ, yeah, many, loads of fish.
Mm.
Was that for sport, or did they actually eat the things?
No, we used to fish for eels in there. There used to be a lot of eels in there at one time.
Did there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And you'd fish for eels, and would you...
Night fishing, what they call night fishing.
Yeah. Did you eat them?
Oh, yeah, they were lovely.
Were they?
Because in them days, it wasn't all churned up. The water was beautiful water.
Was it?
Oh, lovely. We used to swim in it.
Did you? Yeah.
So it was so lovely. It was nice.
Mm.
Clean water.
Yeah.
And then you had the motorboats with their oil.
Oh, that's what messed it up, is it? Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And then over the years there was too much silt in it and silt.
Yeah. Mm.
You never knew what would come out when they was using the toilets.
Yeah.
Did they throw it in there or what? You don't know, do you?
No. Oh, now I've remembered something else that you used to talk about, and that was the Band of Brothers, the filming.
Oh, yeah.
The filming of it
That
was a
was the-
series, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was filmed.
Filmed down at the Duffers.
Was it? At the Duffers? Yeah.
There used to be a twin edge.
Ah.
They stopped outside the pub here. I don't know if it was Spielberg. Somebody said it was Spielberg and Tom Hanks, and they wanted to know where the twin edge was.
Ah.
And I walked out the pub. I said, "Yeah, down the road there."
Did you? Yeah. Yeah.
And in them days, did I have a car then? Yes, I had my car then. Yeah. I don't know if I said, "You follow, you take me." I can't remember now.
Oh, really?
One way or the other, and I said, "There's the edge, look, the
Yeah.
twin edge." Oh, they're just like it is in France. He said, "Just a job."
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in one of the fields towards Long Marston. Yeah.
If you go over the bridge,
Yeah.
no. If you go down to the wooden bridge,
Yeah.
turn left
Yeah.
and walk along to the green bridge, what they call the green bridge,
Right.
which you can
Oh, I know. Yeah.
go over with a tractor
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
Turn left and down there is the meadow of the
Ah,
twin edge.
Yeah. It's the one the footpath goes through now,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Tom Hanks, I did speak to him.
Did you?
Well, they said it was Tom Hanks. So I can't dispute him,
No.
right or wrong.
Yeah.
I used to sit there.
Mm.
The monitors were there.
Yeah.
There, and I used to sit here. And
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watch.
Yeah.
But they used to fetch me in the old Jeep.
Oh.
The Yank used to come up in the Jeep and pick me up.
Yeah.
Take me to breakfast. I used to have a big breakfast.
Hey.
Then in their big marquee.
Yeah.
Marquee. And then used to take me to the
To watch the
shop, where they were filming.
Yeah.
And I used to sit and watch them and everything.
Yeah.
And I used to have me lunch. I used to say, "Come on, Ben, your lunch is up." Because it was half of them in German uniform and the other half American, of course.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then they used to have me tea at night. And before I went, they used to give me a hamper.
Oh.
Every night they gave me a hamper that was full of steak and kidney pies and these pies.
Oh, blimey.
Bloody hell.
Oh, well, that's good. How long did that go on for?
6 weeks. Anyway, Carol was down there and said, "You go down, Dad, and I'll come after you." So I was down there, sitting there watching them on there. Carol come walking down there, and instead of coming along a path, she come through an edge.
Oh.
And he walked straight in front where the cameras were going and everything. And the Germans were running across there, and Carol stood there. And the director said, "Cut!"
Well, she could have been in it.
So he said to me, "Who the hell was that woman?" And I said, "Oh, don't say that, that's my daughter." "Oh, well, that's all right."
Oh, dear.
So Carol was in that bit.
Yeah. Oh,
But they
funny.
cut it though, so you'd never see it, but
No.
she was in that.
Oh.
Because there's the Germans were running across. She was amongst them.
Oh,
Oh dear.
dear.